So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the panel discussion of Amsterdam FinTech Week with FinTech Belgium. Please feel free to submit your questions in the chat box and the Q&A to the left side, to the right side of your screen, and we will address them together with the panelists. And now I will pass the mic to Patricia. She will give us a little bit more overview on the topic we have today.
Yes, thank you so much, T, and thank you, of course, Holland FinTech for inviting us to the Amsterdam FinTech Week today. Let me start my screen sharing and I will tell you all about FinTech Belgium. In fact, we started FinTech Belgium around 5 years ago, and we are a true grassroots organization, a non-profit organization, and we are built by and of course for the FinTechs who are active in Belgium, and we actively promote the Belgian FinTech scene, of course, in Belgium, but also do the promotion of our finest Belgian FinTechs abroad, a bit like we do here today. So also important is in Belgium, we try to act as kind of the single point of contact for our industry towards, for instance, the regulators or other parties, politics, of course, Brussels, important for the EU community. And what we also often do is let the magic happen by sharing our experiences, share also our knowledge within our community, and also towards, let's say, the incumbent players. We organize academies so that we will get to know each other much better. So now I'm gonna move to my next slide. Something really important that we will be setting up at the end of this month, and that is our own digital finance hub, FYRE. FYRE standing for not only FinTech, but also InsurTech, RegTech. We also have accounting tech and so on. So FinTech Belgium, we really bring all the members together in this hub. It's a fantastic place with a nice bar indeed, and there we will resemble some of the FinTechs, but for instance also organize kind of open academies, also open office hours where you can have maybe consultation by lawyers, by accountants, maybe to get your investment deck ready, stuff like that. And of course we will also have some drinks and other activities there, so please look out for that nice place. It will be open soon. As I said, we are building our ecosystem together in Belgium, and therefore we have invited 3 of our finest FinTech members to give your presentation here today. We have Toon, he will start in a moment from data.be. Then, of course, we have Ben from ByeByeRent. He's just about to launch his business. And then we have Eric from Okioki, who is really eager to set foot in the market in the Netherlands. So, Eric, the floor is yours. Sorry, not.
I think, yeah, fine. I'll drop in here. So, hi, everybody. Yeah. I'm from the CEO of data.be. And she's a board member of FinTech Belgium and also leading the whole InsurTech community for us. I'm myself, I'm more active in what is called the RegTech, so the regulatory technology, where we help financial providers with their monitoring, reporting, but especially compliance when it comes to business customers. And this is something typically you will see with lots of FinTechs that are based in Brussels, because historically Brussels had had large marketplaces such as Swift, Euroclear, and is very close to both the regulator as the regulatory oversight. So the lawmaking, the law firms, the lobbyists, they're all on the European level working from Brussels. And so there's a lot of RegTechs out here. So I would say, if you need a solution, don't hesitate to check the Belgian market and the FinTech website for the many members we have that are active in this field. Patricia, if you can go to the next slide, I will tell you a little bit more about my own company, because what we do is we structure the unstructured data. And for the Dutch people in this session, the Chamber of Commerce, which in the Netherlands has as well structured information. In Belgium, this is not the case, and in many countries, and you have to go and find it at different government sources, and you have to make an assessment yourself of who is the right person who can sign for this company, onboard it, or to sign for a loan or another financial transaction, are already duly mandated to do this transaction. And that's where we come in. We have structured from those documents the information on the businesses. Now, if we go one slide along, you will see that Belgium's KYC data has a little bit of structured data, but most of it is actually unstructured data, published by notaries in PDFs in free formats, in Word documents, in spreadsheets, in presentations, on social media posts, books, media appearances, and so on. And so there's a lot of manual work involved in Belgium when you work with Belgian counterparties, and you need to do. Next slide. You can see that as many fintechs, we are using AI label. We're mainly, if you look down into it, into image recognition, because we do OCR on all those documents, and then we do entity extraction. So we're part of the NLP, the language processing, where we do the classification of the documents and then the extraction of certain entities. And if we go to the next slide, you will see some of those by going from unstructured to structured. For example, we have the persons, the locations, we can show them in graphs, so that you have, like, when you onboard a customer or do a recertification on a certain business customer, you have a complete view of what exactly those people are involved in, where they work from, who they work with, and what their past business records show. Next slide, please, Patricia. Thank you very much. So this is something called named entity recognition, and the entities we recognize are the roles. So a person is representing an organization in a certain role, as a CEO, as a board member, as an executive, a manager, and they need to publish in the Belgian bylaws, in the State Gazette, the Belgian Staatsblad, as it's called in Dutch. They need to publish who can do that on those roles. Another source, you can find the addresses. We actually extract the amounts, the capital increase, decrease, the amounts of the mandates. They can sign up to 2 million each, but above that, you need several people from the board to co-sign a document. So if you are a bank providing large loans, you want to make sure that you have the duly representative to justify the loan that you're about to give. We do the dates out of there. So from when are they appointed? For example, for an NV, Société Anonyme, it's a 6-year mandate maximum. So you can see if somebody has been re-nominated within that term, they should put their administration in order and get either re-nominated or get the right person in there. On which roles they are nominated, so it's the CEO role, delegated bestuurder, that type of words we're looking for. And then what type of signature they have. Is it a mandate, somebody in HR? They can hire people, but they will not appear as, in many cases, as the former director of the company. So if we go to the next slide, you will see a little bit more how we do this. So on the right side, you have a text. So this is a text as it appears in the bylaw. And the entity recognition, that different entities have different colors, which allow us to paste them into structured records. And then we score the information depending on whether we had to OCR it. It means there's a little bit of noise, so there could be errors, very low percentages, but still could be. Right now, the OCR errors are lower than the human copying that we see happening at the Belgian banks. So at that point, we really are on a very, very good level. There still is a human assessment to say, yes, indeed, because it's the bank responsibility in Belgium to do this check. They cannot outsource that. They have to say, yes, I duly checked this person and this company, and I have the right confirmation from authentic bylaws that this is a duly mandated person to sign on a transaction. And that's where we come in. We help them do this job a lot quicker than they could in the old days, where everything was manual proofreading and of documents, of highlighting, of putting the signatures in the margin, and then storing it in some CMS to say, yeah, we checked 40 documents, and these 4 snippets were the ones that we base our decision on. If we go to the next slide. Thank you very much. So we also have a graph, and we can show it, of course, as a graph visually, but we also show it in text, so that if you pull it through an API, and it's okay, you can stay on the slide, you will see the different companies for which a person is represented. In this case, the Sparax is the one VAT number you see there. The person who is representing that company has many other companies where that person is representing. So you immediately get an idea on the representative of a company, whether this is somebody that is in many companies with potentially a higher risk, or is it a group of companies, or are they in the public? So this is a government agency, which might have a different risk profile for politically exposed persons, and so on. And if we go to the final slide, you will see on the left corner all the type of official sources that we have structured. So there's one slide going too fast, if I said, but yeah, this is the one. Thank you. So we have the National Bank, the Crossroads data bank of company information. We have the bylaws, the social security. We also check on a daily basis the bankruptcy openings, all sorts of employment data records, so that we make sure that we have the latest information. For some products, we have customers that upload documents. So we will say this is a self-decorative document that you can append, but you should not take it as an authentic source. And then on all those sources, we do the OCR, the processing, the graph information that we annotate it, and we allow you to do advanced text search in all those different sources. We capture it so that you can use it as a financial, as a fintech or a financial industry player to do your own quality check, to feed your audit trail that we have checked these sources on that date and this came out of it, and we integrate it through APIs, and we have a SaaS product. So this was my presentation. We'll go to the last slide. What do we bring to you? Structuring of these data elements, the legal representatives, the signature rules, and then this graph view. We help you automate this whole complex chain of OCR and the extraction and annotation in your systems. We can push you alerts. So you have an existing customer, they have a bankruptcy opening. It's a very classic case. We will say, watch out, this customer, you want to probably put them in a different division or a different watch list internally, or start looking at the risk that is linked to this company, and all of this through APIs. So web interface, workflow management, and advanced custom scoring. So increased productivity, increased quality, and increased traceability. I will not take it any further and leave the rest of the time to Eric also to do his pitch now. And thank you, Patricia, for operating the presentation so well.
No problem at all, Tom. Ben, you're next. Please, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Pat. When I say Pat, can you change the slide?
Of course. I will do the trick.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Benjamin Weinberg. I'm the founder of ByeByeRent, Pat. So I'm going to tell you the story of ByeByeRent. It's a very simple one. When you ask people why they're still renting, they will tell you in 80% of the case that they don't have the down payment to buy a home. And when you ask them, okay, so put money aside, they will tell you that it will take them more than 15 years in average to build that down payment to be able to acquire a home. And in fact, while you build that down payment, you keep renting. And of course, for us, renting, it's like losing money. It's like also losing on the market appraisals, not capitalizing on your future, and of course, the opportunity to become a homeowner. But we all know this is a regulation issue. All know the loan to value ratio. And we can all agree that they have pushed the down payment requirement up to 25%, which is for some people impossible to reach. But we have a solution, and it's a very simple one. We let people buy the dream home, even if they don't have the down payment to buy it. But how we do it is quite simple as well. We directly invest up to 100,000 euro per transaction in the property itself. It's a co-ownership or joint ownership model. In Belgium, we call it an indivision scheme. We take a markup on the ownership, 50% markup on ownership, and we ask just the end user a small monthly installment. It's like a rent, and it's basically based on the ownership shares that we have in the property. When the users wants it, he can either sell the property or buy your shares back at a market price. So what I like with ByeByeRent, it's his business model. We have 6 sources of revenue, but it's a very simple and very transparent business model. We even list it on our websites. We take a 1% setup fee that it's capped at a certain property price. We take this small monthly installment, which is based on a yield of 4%. We take a markup on the ownership, I just spoke about it. And we also take ancillary fees because we're currently having the aggregation as a credit broker, insurance broker, and realtor broker. And of course, those 3 last ones are not impacting on the end user. Pat? So you're going to tell me, Ben, that's a beautiful story, but doesn't it remind you of the subprime? And I will tell you, no, we only target prime borrowers. It is people with high salary potentials, self-employed that had to invest in their properties, or people that have very nice tenants track records. Basically, what you have to know is that we're always behind the underwriting process of a bank. So we always let the bank give the credit score to the end user, and if they don't want it, then they don't have to go for it. But of course, we're not the only one. There is a lot of different approach in different market. There is the rent to buy, the alt credit, the reverse mortgage. Here, we're really a co-ownership model. We have a competitor in France who you may have heard of, ByeByeRent. But on Belgium, we have this true first mover advantage. We have a very strong value proposition and a very good user experience we're currently building to give an eligibility to the customer in less than 2 minutes. What is also good with ByeByeRent is that we don't compete within the financial industry, which is not always the case with FinTech. We're fully integrated in the landscape. And that's why we have a very cool funnel, acquisition funnel. We use credit institution, financial institution to basically, when they refuse a user, they can send it to us and we can revert it back, of course, with this down payment complement. We also do that with realtors and real estate developers because, of course, we reduce their sales cycle and we increase their sales volume. So I wouldn't send us some clients. So we're small teams. You have the two founders on the left. In the middle, we have our CTO and our head of credit who is helping us. And of course, we're currently launching the rocket, as Patricia said. So we still have two board members who are quite active for the moment. So we've raised the first pre-seed round in December, around 415 equity, plus some money for doing the first transaction. We'll target in September. We're currently doing the first transaction. We'll target a new round of 1.5 million seed rounds we'll start by the end of August. So we had an approval from the regulator, a go from the regulator in April. It was quite hectic to have it. It took more than 4 months. We're currently finalizing an agreement with a financial institution. We hope to close this new round to be able to help us to do some transaction and grow more rapidly, of course. And we hope to close the first transaction by September. I say close it because in Belgium, you know, it can take up to 4 months between the offer and the act. So yeah, we target to do about 1,000 transactions in 3 years. But our long-term vision is to become the alternative to classic real estate financing solution in Europe, not only in Belgium. Our model is quite scalable. We already check in France, of course, because there is a competitor, but as well in the Netherlands. It's a market that we have our eyes on, of course. So yeah, the end game is to become a European alternative solution. But I always finish my pitch with a funny note. So it's my last slide, and I want to tell you that if you are renting, stop wasting money on rent. If we could make Greta Thunberg and Trump agree on this one, I don't see why we couldn't convince you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben. Eric, and now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Patricia. Hi, I'm Eric. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Okioki. We are new as Okioki in the Netherlands. We're aiming to launch in the Netherlands in 2022. But we have a background in building digital platforms for Dutch banks. We've been working for Moneyou, for Argenta. We've been working for Rabobank, etc. in the Netherlands. So we're happy to move back into the Netherlands soon. So, but my question for today is, are you feeling Okioki today? But what we see of what we experience as entrepreneurs who are all here today, we love entrepreneuring, but we hate our paperwork. Accountancy portals, the software and the tools that are available today in the market, they don't work for us. They don't help us because they wait for us to act. And what does that mean? If they wait for us, that means that we as an entrepreneur, we still struggle with collecting our invoices. And why is that? Next, but because the current solutions, they don't help us. If you take a look at when I have to get, as an entrepreneur, my books or my documents at my accountant, then I have to do a lot of work before it even gets to my accountant. And that's where all software or all solutions today in the market, they fail. What I have to do is I have to track my mailbox. I have to find mails to forward to my accountant. Some documents I have to photograph, I have to download invoices from portals, and I have to upload them again into the accountancy portal, etc. And then the accountancy portal starts to do her work with OCR, data handling, and preparing the bookings. What Okioki does to solve this for the accountant is, but next slide, is we turn all this into an automated flow. That means that the only thing that the entrepreneur today has to do is photograph or digitize the paper invoices, but Okioki tracks herself, the mailbox, forwards the mails and invoices to the accountant. She downloads the invoices from the portals and she uploads them into Okioki and sends them to the accountant, while she does the OCR and data handling at the same time. So we tackle a big issue of collecting invoices for the entrepreneur at the start of the administration or bookkeeping process. And because that bottleneck is still there, we see that despite all digitization in the market and in the industry, accountants are still struggling with peaks at the end of the quarter. Now, how do we solve this precisely? That's where Okioki so comes in. Next slide. Okioki is an application, mobile, desktop, tablet, doesn't matter. You can reach her anywhere where you can get online, of course. And what she does in the first place, but is she collects all your invoices. That means that you connect as an entrepreneur, you connect your mailbox to Okioki, and she herself will go and look into your mailbox for all invoices related to your administration. She finds them on the portals, she finds them in your email, she saves the emails that are invoices themselves. Every document, every receipt that she finds is gathered for you in your Okioki account, in your Okioki archive, and sent to your accountant. That happens in nearly real time. And so we are working fast, but we need to ensure that we are also working complete. And we need to deliver a complete package of documents and a complete administration to the accountant. And how do we do that, Pat? By not only integrating with the mailbox of the entrepreneur, but also with the bank account of the entrepreneur. We are today a financial institution in Belgium. We are an AISP, so that means that we have access to the account information, to bank account information of the entrepreneurs. And so when the entrepreneur gives a consent to connect its bank account with Okioki, then we'll grab all the bank transactions and we start comparing the bank transactions, reconciling them with the documents that we have found for the entrepreneur. But that means that at that time, we create a simple, handy to-do list for the entrepreneur, a big yellow number that says, Eric, there are 8 topics that you need to look at. And if you get those 8 topics to 0, Pat, then you are, as we call it, Pat, Okioki. That's what Okioki does. So she manages your administration for you. She automates it for you. And that makes, Pat, that I find myself doing my administration at the counter in the supermarket, for example. Now, Pat, the Okioki is not only a win for me as an entrepreneur, but also for my accountant, of course. Pat, what is the big win for my accountant? My accountant receives all the invoices directly from my mailbox to his accountancy or her accountancy software. The to-do list that Okioki generates is always there and it's always up to date. So the accountant does not have to chase the entrepreneur anymore for documents and missing information. And the entrepreneur can stick to his or her favorite software because we integrate with every accountancy package in the background. Next slide. Pat. We are available in the market directly for the entrepreneur, but also for the accountants. We serve the entrepreneur through a SaaS offering where they can jump into one of the 3 tiers. And at the same time, the accountant can also become a client of Okioki, selling the product in his or her terms to the clients of the accountant, of course. Now, Okioki is a broad application, but we are today focusing on automating the financial administration for the entrepreneur. So the entrepreneur stays effortlessly on track and in control. Automation is the big difference between what we do today in the market and what other players are doing in the market. On terms of, we receive the invoices and receipts, we integrate with the accountant, we reconcile the bank transactions and credit card statements on Plus, and we allow the user today to make payments and so to pay their incoming invoices. At the same time, tomorrow we will also be able to let the entrepreneurs send out invoices and follow up the invoices through Okioki and give them performance insights. But because, as we say it, the only great thing about your financial administration is the feeling or the relief you feel when Okioki says everything is okay. And that's what we at Okioki call the Okioki feeling. The 5 minutes of work that I still have at the end of the quarter is the same 5 minutes that I will have at the beginning or in the middle of the quarter. So that's my story and my question. Are you feeling already Okioki today? Thanks.
Thanks, Eric, for this very nice presentation of this accounting tech, one of our verticals at FinTech Belgium. So the only thing that is left for me is to say very much thank you for all for your attention, and then please, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A of the chat on the function on the Hopping platform. And I do invite you to, if you want to stay tuned about all the activities and all the events of FinTech Belgium, just subscribe to our newsletter on our website, and then you will be fully updated. And of course, we can also be found at your loved social media channels. So that's it for me.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for the amazing panel discussion. And here is the overview of today's agenda. Please take a look, enjoy our next event in the session sector on Hopin, and we hope to see you guys there. Thank you.
Okay, all the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.